It is the college football game of the week. Missouri hosting Alabama. And I've got two systems that are 77% and 82% on the same team. I'll have that for you in just 1 minute. Well, we know this Missouri State team is good. They are number one in yards per game diff. They are number 5 in points per game diff. They play at a very fast pace. They're number 2 in the country, averaging 80 yards per play. They have the nation's leading rusher in Ahmed Hardy, averaging 7.1 yards per carry. Jamal Roberts, the number 2 rusher, averaging 7.3 yards per carry. Bo Prabula, 76% completions, 9 TDs. He has thrown 3 interceptions. And on offense, they've had a season high against each of their last 3 opponents. Their defense has had a season high 3 of their 5 opponents. And we look overall, this Missouri team is averaging 150 yards per game more than their opponents allow. That's number 11 in the country. And the defense is holding those opponents to 164 yards per game, less than they normally average. That is number 6 in the country. So why is Missouri a home underdog? It's simple, guys. It's because Missouri has played the number 150th schedule. By the way, Alabama has played the 4th toughest schedule. By far the biggest SEC mismatch we will see maybe this century, this far into the season. So Missouri's played nobody. And I do like using Sagarin ratings for the strength of schedule because he incorporates both FBS and FCS. So now you realize there's 136 FBS teams. That means Missouri has at least 14 FCS teams that have played a tougher schedule to them. So we don't know how good they are. When we look at Alabama, we have an idea of how high they are. They are my number 2 power rated team in the country behind only Ohio State. Since that Florida State loss, which is starting to look not as good, they have held 4 of the 5 opponents to a season low. Remember I talked about Missouri's averages compared to the season? Well, Bama's played the much tougher schedule, but when you're comparing averages, it's really apples to apples. Their offense is number 10 in the country. They averaged 153 yards more per game more than their opponents allow. And on defense, they're number 5, holding foes to under 168 yards per game. So, Bama higher power rated, Bama much tougher schedule, Bama having to go on the road. I will say this, being a noon game, I think does help Alabama. The crowds are never quite as loud. The drinking doesn't kick in quite as well. So edge to Bama in that situation, edge to Bama in the series because they've dominated these. But when I share these 2 angles to you, you're going to realize my opinion and why I like this team. Before I get to those, smash that like button. If you don't do it before you hear the systems, please do it after. Hopefully they make you a better teaching this information for you. And make sure you follow Wager Talk TV on all the social media networks. Over 300,000 people follow Wager Talk TV. You should be one of them. Well, the Bama offense, as I mentioned, leading rusher in the country on Missouri side, leading passer in the country, of course, freshman Ty Simpson, a 13-to-1 ratio, 70% completions, a 9.4 YPA. Those are amazing. They share the ball around. 4 receivers have double digits. The run game, pretty much non-existent. 212 yards against ULM rushing, but 87 at Florida State, 72 against Wisconsin. They did have 146 against Georgia, but only 3.8 yards per carry. And they had 117 against Georgia with a 3.1 yards per carry, 146 and 3.8 against Vanderbilt. You look at Alabama's schedule, brutal. They go to Georgia, what they thought might have been an easy game, hosting Vanderbilt last week. We know it was tight the entire way until they pulled away the last couple minutes. And now having to travel to Missouri in a 3-week period. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Tennessee's on deck. When you look at Missouri, well, we mentioned the week schedule. They're off UMass. Again, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, while Bama has had to fight tooth and nail each of the last 2 weeks, traveling now for the second time in 3 weeks. Well, let me tell you system number one. And when a system has this kind of success with these type of outlier numbers, you have to pay attention to it. So I went back all the way to 2006 and I looked at game number 4 and later. Why? Because I'm talking about defensive rushing. And if you're a team like a Sun Belt team or a MAC team and you are a 50-point underdog in a couple games, your numbers are all going to be skewed. So by the 4th game, you likely have played a conference game. You likely have faced a wider variety of opponents. So I think it's a much truer number. But teams that are a favorite and have allowed at least 6.5 yards per carry in each of their last 2 games, like Alabama has, 18 ATS wins, 60 ATS losses. That is a 23.1% system or a 77% fade on the Alabama rush D. Against Georgia, they allowed 6.9 yards per carry. Against Vanderbilt, they allowed 7.1 yards per carry. And remember back at Florida State, they allowed 230 yards rushing, 4.7 yards per carry. System number 2. When a team is a conference home dog, is off a home game, and has a win streak of 4 games or more. So we have a quality team. They've cashed their last 4. They did not have to travel. They were home last week, and now they're a conference home dog. Since 2014, those teams like Missouri, 27, 6, and 1, 82% against the spread. So a massive fade on Alabama, a massive play on for Missouri, clearly has me with the Missouri Tigers plus the 3. The Weekend Warrior, just $49. My college football, 27 and 14, 66%. College football, 4% and 5% plays, 21 and 8, 72%. I will have an NFL 5% today. They are 6 and 1, 86%. And my NFL teasers, 4% and higher, 16 and 3, 84%. I did misspeak. I said I'm going to have an NFL 5% today. I will have an NFL 5% this week. So when you sign up for the Weekend Warrior, as soon as you click, you will get all the plays I already have loaded. And as soon as I load those releases, you will get them immediately. Follow me on Twitter at CalSportsLV. Hit that like button. Make sure you're following Wager Talk on social media. Enjoy a great Saturday of college football. This is Ralph Michaels saying hopefully the ball bounces your way.